Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for watching our webinar Layout 2015. We are online, it's February 19th, and for the next hour or so, I will be your host, demoing Layout, showing you the possibilities, and I will show you how you can get your hands on Layout. So, you are all using the GoToWebinar panel, and there are some functionalities in this panel which I would like to make you aware of. That if you have a question, you can raise your hand. So to test this functionality and also to see if everybody can hear me clearly, I would kindly ask you to raise your hand. You see a little button with a hand. I don't see any hands. So let me type a message. Okay, I don't see any hands raising. Maybe if you can hear me, just type in a message. There's a little chat window, and you can type in a message there. So I just did that, so you should be able to see a message. Okay, I see a question coming along. That's also good. I can hear you. Okay, thanks, Mr. Witt. That's good to know. Okay, see, all is okay. So let's start this webinar off. So the program is well, I will begin in a minute, and it should take until 2 o'clock at most. I think we will end sooner, but who knows? I will do a short presentation about the possibilities, and I of course demo Layout and the combination of SketchUp. And then at roughly 2 o'clock, there will be time for questions. So if you have questions during the webinar, since there are so many subscribers today, I would kindly request you to hold them off until the end of the webinar, and I can go over them one by one. So this is to prevent my presentation for being interrupted all the time. So thanks for your understanding. So if you have questions, please, after my presentation, there will be room enough to post them. So about Design Aid, we are a distributor for SketchUp since 2002. We are a distributor for countries, the Benelux, Denmark, and Norway. And so we have been distributor for SketchUp before it was purchased by Google. And we're still distributor now. It's purchased by Trimble. So Google sold Trimble off to Google sold Trimble off to SketchUp off to Trimble. And we're very happy with that move because we can see significant increase in development speed, and I hope you notice this too. So about today, I'm going to show you what Layout is. I think many of you will already have heard about it. Maybe some of you use it, maybe some of you don't, but what is it good for? What does it do? Well, actually Layout is indispensable. When you are a professional working with Layout, with SketchUp, you should really also use Layout. It's a tool to present your 3D SketchUp model in 2D, because you know the design space in SketchUp, it's huge. You can draw everything one on one, and then if you want to present it, you want lay down on a piece of paper or show it on screen, you never know what you're going to get. So layout is made for doing all that. So you can make 2D presentations on paper or a screen. And it's also just a 2D drawing program. It has 2D tools available. I have a customer who doesn't use SketchUp Pro in 3D yet, but only uses layout to draw moles in 2D. It's very funny, but it's a very effective way to do that. And I know of someone who uses layout as a photo book, because you can also work with images in layout, creating a multi-page presentation. So why should you use layout? What's it good for? There's only one answer to that, and that is your workflow. It's workflow. When you design something in 3D, it doesn't stop there. You need to do something with your design, and normally you're going out to your client or your co-workers and present it. So I would like to ask you, is this your workflow? Do you create images out of SketchUp, paste those images in Word or maybe spreadsheets or maybe something like PowerPoint? And when you present, of course, all kinds of changes need to be done, and you need to go back to SketchUp and then create the images again, and so forth and so forth. Well, you can do better than that. So here comes layout, and layout remains a direct link to your 3D SketchUp model. It is a 2D application, and you can work the exact same way as you were used to, except for the fact that the images that you see on the right are not really dead images, but are views on your SketchUp model in SketchUp. So they're perfectly linked, and everything you do in SketchUp will be reflected in your 2D presentation. So using layout saves you a bunch of time, and you can use that time better, I guess. Maybe get some more sleep if you're busy. So it's valuable. But more so, you will be consistent in your presentation because you can adjust the templates that layouts uses to present your models. You can make nice exports to PDF, and those exports will contain both vector and raster information. It's the only way for you to be able to export your edges as vector and your textures as raster in SketchUp. So you would need to do that with layout. And also it's possible to export your design into by using the DWG option in the export options of layout. So it's for your workflow. It's absolutely mandatory. So how do you get layout? Do you buy it? Well, maybe you already got it because layout is free and it gets automatically installed with SketchUp Pro. So if you bought SketchUp Pro, and not the free version, but the Pro version, then in the background, layout has automatically been installed. And therefore, it's a separate program, so you might not see it, but it's there on your machine. And maybe you've seen the shortcut on your desktop. You can start it separate from SketchUp, but of course you can fire it up right from SketchUp. And maybe you don't want to design in 3D but only 2D. Well then, like SketchUp Pro, you can buy layout. It's €4.99 ex VAT, including 1 year of maintenance, and you get SketchUp Pro for free. It's just a matter of looking at the case. So, or you can buy SketchUp and you get layout for free, or you buy layout and you get SketchUp for free. But the both are not to be purchased separately, and they go hand in hand. So what does layout do? Before I start my demo, I would like to outline some functionality. The key features of layout. Like I said, you can present in 2D. Your SketchUp model will be linked to your layout presentation. You can present on paper or on screen. You can adjust the template to reflect your corporate identity. You can create drawings of your 3D model on scale using dimensions and annotations. You can have multiple views of the same design on one sheet. It respects SketchUp scenes, so if you make scenes, and I strongly suggest and advise you to use those in combination with layout, you can choose the scenes you set up in SketchUp, you can use them in layout. And it respects SketchUp information. So if you rename a group or a component, you can get those names right there at your fingertips in layout. It calculates square meters for faces, it calculates volume for bodies, and it can display that information in your presentation. It has a scrapbook, and we can see the scrapbook as a sort of a 2D warehouse. It's not as open as the 3D warehouse you all might know, but at least it comes with a bunch of 2D clippings that you can use for annotating your design. So in layout, you can not only work with your SketchUp model, but you can also use images and clippings. And all the information you bring into layout will also be linked. So it has a sort of a external reference sheet. Another nice feature is the auto text. And you can use auto text for example, page numbering or project numbering, so that you can create a template. I will show it in a minute, and have one consistent way of naming and numbering your designs. Okay, so if you're ready, I can really show you the layout functionality, and in this case I will start in SketchUp Pro. So here is a 3D model in SketchUp Pro, and you see I have multiple sections, scenes set up, and even some section that I use Sculpt for. Maybe you know Sculpt, maybe you don't. Sculpt is a plugin for SketchUp that can slice, that can fill your slice with a custom texture, and those textures are fully compatible with AutoCAD hatch patterns. And as you can see, I can assign multiple textures to multiple objects in a SketchUp section. So without Sculpt, this would not be possible, but thanks to Sculpt, it is. So how do I get from this 3D model to layout? Well, that's simple. Actually, you have two ways. Or you push the button, send to layout. And if you do, you get a reminder that, the model is not saved to the latest version. So you need to save your model before sending it to layout. So let's do that. Let's save it. Okay. And let's use this button, or either go to File and click Send to Layout. And when you do, Layout will fire up. It's a separate program. I'm on a Mac, and here you see the programs I'm running. I'm running SketchUp, and now I'm running Layout. And Layout asks you for a template. Because it's a 2D application, it would like to know what paper you have in your printer drawer, or whatever, what screen size you use. And you can make a choice. There are many nice automatically generated templates already. So let's take this one and let's choose a paper format. Let's choose A3, and I click the button. And now what Layout does is it picks the latest view in SketchUp. Here you can see the latest view I had in SketchUp, and it just throws it onto the template. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Right. And you can see really it's a 2D application. I can use the same mouse movements that I use in SketchUp. Only now I will not rotate the model, but I will pan my drawing, and I can zoom in and out using the mouse wheel. And this template is already populated with some pages. So this is the front page, and this is the inside page. And I create an extra page if I want to. And you'll see it will create a blank page. But it will all be in the same corporate identity that I chose. And if you look closely, that you see here number 2, if I click on the page before, it will have number 1. That's because this is a other text. If I double click, you will see that this text consists of an A and an O, a dot, and then comes some text between sort of brackets that you're familiar with if you're also programming in HTML. Well, this is sort of a trigger for LayOut to fetch a certain other text. And the other texts are maintained in the text menu, and you can find the command other text. And it will go actually to your document setup, straight into the other text section. And there you see some already pre-populated other texts. And what this does is it will automatically fill out all information you provide here all across the layout document where you enter that other text. So if I say my description, my company name, for instance, and I fill out this design aid. Where I have company name, it will state design aid, and here it is. And if I look at it, well, it's just a tag company name. And I can also enter my own logo here. So if I remove this logo, I go to File, Insert, and I look up my own logo, and I have one here. Here's my logo, it's just an image. I can resize it, I can scale it, and I can move it, and I can get it to the desired position. And maybe I want some nice stuff over here. Let's do it again, and I have a sort of a cross. I like that. Move it down. So I hope you understand that you can fully customize this template. And if you did this with an empty template, you can save it being your own template. So this way you can choose it from startup and always using your own corporate identity. But the thing is that if I now move to the second inside page, you see that my logo is gone. That is because this and this are on a layer. And if I look at the layer panel, I will see that the default is activated. So these two objects are on the default layer. And I will move them to the layer on every inside page. Like so, I click with the right mouse button and I say move selection. And now they're on this layer. And what is special about this layer is that it has a little icon of 3 pages all at the end. And this means that everything that's put on this layer will be reflected on every page. So now let's go to the second inside page, and yes, there it is. You will see that my logo is now on every inside page. What about the front page? I don't see my logo there. How is the front page different? Well, it's very funny because what we did on the front page was the layer on every inside page. We unchecked the visibility by clicking the eye, and that's how you get to make every page a little bit different. So let's go to the front page and let's make this somewhat special. I created some photo renderings and let's see how it looks. So I have a daylight render Here's the same model. I used render in to render it. And I have another render, and it's a night, an evening. Check it out. That's nice, huh? Okay, so you can really arrange your images or rotate them in a way that you like. And you can also work with clippings. So if I draw, say, a circle here, and I select the circle and the image, I can combine these two in a sort of a clipping mask. And then I'm still free to rotate or scale, no problem at all. And I can also give it a little bit of an edge. I go to my shape style and I check the stroke, give it a different color, give it a different width, and there you have it. And if I like it, I can take it and I can also put it on the other image I had. So that's a way to use shapes, but you can also use the shapes themselves. So let's go to the empty page and draw something quickly. There are some drawing tools in LayOut. You see there are some more actually than SketchUp has. It does have an ellipse tool. And it works basically the same. Let's change the stroke. Let's change it to black and 1 point. If I draw a rectangle, you can, like in SketchUp, say I want this one to be 100 by 50 millimeters, and voila. So now I can draw a circle, I can snap, and I can snap to the center, and now I have two separate entities. But I have a knife, and I can cut the shapes where they cross, like so. Click, click, and now I have separate entities. And I can use the glue to glue those parts together. Click, click, and now I suddenly created a random shape by combining these two. And this is a shape, so I can go to the shape style and I can give it a pattern and I can give it a color. Let's see. And I can give it a stroke. It's all fully adjustable. I can edit it by double clicking it and move the points around. So that's why I said you can also use this as a 2D application. But let's delete this stuff. It's not necessary. So I showed you how I use my logo and I import stuff. It's good to know that you can create a sort of a scrapbook where you keep your most used images and logos and text and stuff. So let's start a new drawing. Let's just pick an empty one. Plain paper, A4, voila. So this is an empty document. And let's insert my logo and this image again. There we go. Here. Okay. So here it is. Let's make it a little bit smaller. It's a little bit too big for the pixels. Okay. And now I want to make this my scrapbook. Well, it's very simple. I just say save as scrapbook. My scrapbook. Save. And now what that does is it creates a page in the scrapbooks. Let me go to my other document. Let's save it, by the way. Voila. Okay, so this scrapbook contains 2D objects that you can use. You can just drag out all kinds of 2D elements. And here is my scrapbook. I just created this a moment ago, and now I'm able to use the stuff I put there just by dragging them, or also I can use this as a stamp, just click it, and then click, 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 click. And that's really helpful. So looking at the scrapbook, I see some trees, for instance, and they are, of course, a little bit on scale. So let's see what happens when I go to my page and I want to use these. Well, it's better in this case to go to a 2D view. So what I do, I duplicate this page, and now I get a second one. And the second one I will change. I will change this SketchUp model. So let's go to SketchUp model. Now let's do away with perspective. Let's pick a standard view like the front. Yeah. Let's pick a scale. Let's say 1 to 50. It's okay. Yep. And let's go to a little bit more elegant style. Let's do a black and white style. So let's go to the scrapbook and let's pick a tree and just drag it over here. If you don't like it, you can change it, scale it, resize it, whatever you like. And also there are some people, for instance, and those are scaled 1 to 20, but I know there are also people 1 to 50, and this view was 1 to 50, right? Yeah. So if I now pick a people here, I know that the scale is exactly correct. And since we're working in 2D, I can also show you how to place dimensions. I can place dimensions by using the dimension tools, and I have two kinds, linear and angular. It's a little bit limited at the moment. I expect this to develop some further, but at the moment you can just snap to the edges in the SketchUp model and click your dimension. And now as you can see, we are using slashes, we are using two digits, and it displays the units. And if I want to change that, I just go to my dimension style dialog box and I can uncheck the dimension, the M. I can put it in millimeters or centimeters. I can pull down the precision to just 1 centimeter. And this will already look a lot better. But to change the dashes, I would like to go to the shape style, and here you see the start arrow. It's a dash, but I want to create an arrow for that and an arrow for the other side. And let's see how that looks. Much, much better. So you can really create your own style. You can even change them to a sort of a blue and start dimensioning. And you can really save this in your template. So every time you create a 2D dimension drawing, they will all look the same. And you can also dimension angles. So if I want to know what angle this is, I just go to the angular and I click in the origin that I need, and I say, okay, this is one edge, and from the origin this is the other edge. And now it gives me exactly the dimension. It depends on the edges I click what dimension I get. See? This dimension is projected, so it has no meaning to dimension an angle when it's viewed at an angle in layout. It can only be used for dimensioning orthogonal views. Just something to remember. So, but the most fun thing about layout, I think, is that you can have multiple viewports on the same page. So let's make this viewport a little bit smaller. And how do you get to multiple viewports? Well, simple. It's just copy and paste. And here you have another one. Or just select them and drag them, pressing the Alt or Control on Windows until you have 4 views. And you can resize them independently, or you can use the shapes that can be found in the tool set of layout. And when I combine these into a clipping, you can see I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can also keep editing them. And the other nice thing about layout is, even though this is a 2D representation of the 3D model, you can still double click such a view and rotate it. And you can use the navigation tool that you are used to using in SketchUp. So click outside, it will close. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And this allows you to present your model in various views on the same page, and that's excellent for presentations. Of course, you can also do this for 2D. So let's duplicate this page and then do away with the dimensions and do away with the people. And let's move this to the side. Let's make a copy of this. And then for this view, just change the camera. We go to the SketchUp model, and instead of front, I will choose right. And here you see that we just created the right side view of this document. So this comes in really handy for creating technical drawings. And another great example of how this can be used is if we paste a view on a page, and then let's choose a SketchUp scene. So in SketchUp, we had separate scenes created for separate views. And like this one is very nice, or this one also very nice. Let's choose this one. It's created with scalp, and let's see. Scalp. Scenes, scalp. Voila. Now you see the exact same view, only nicely textured sections, and you can use it to dimension. That's all working. And you can also use it to annotate it. So what you can do is you use the label tool and just point to objects. So let's point to this wall, and let's see what it shows me. And now here you can see a little bit of auto text, and it will offer me to show the area. That's nice, because if I want to paint this wall or I want to stucco it, I at least know how big it is. Let's click the arrow, and you can see that it has a group with a certain volume. So it's also possible to get the group's volume that I'm pointing to. And if this group has a name, I could also choose the name. But let's choose the face area for now. Okay. I have a little stair here, and let's click that. Here also you have a face area of this section, but I can choose here to use the name, and probably this name is scalp scene view, which is a little bit strange. Let's see if I can get some more information. No, that's it. So let's go to the SketchUp model and look at this stair. I think it's special because it's a scalp section. Yeah, it doesn't have a name. So let's give it a name, and let's save the model. Let's go back to layout, and then let's click right and update the model reference. No, it doesn't do it. I think it's because it's special. It's a scalp section. Let's go to a different view. Yeah, it should be able to do it here. Yep. Here you see the group name is stairs with the volume, or the face only with the face perimeter. So let's add the group name, and below that let's add the volume. So now we know that we need to create a stair, and we know how much concrete we need to be able to build it. So that's how the intelligence that you can build inside of SketchUp in your model will get transferred to layout. And when you're happy with your presentation, let me see, you can start presenting right away. Of course, you can print it. Maybe you can export it as separate images or as a PDF document or AutoCAD format. But you can also press this screen button, and then the funny thing is that layout will go full screen, enabling you to present your design into the on-screen right in front of your clients. And the other great thing about this is that when you make notes during your presentation, so you could actually say, well, we delete a tree. You can really make notes. Or you say, well, this window is too big. I need to make it like so, or maybe like so. So you can really scribble, and when you're done presenting, just press escape, and your scribbles will be saved to the file. At least it asks you if you would like to do this, to make this happen. When you press yes, then you will be back into your layout model, and hey, now your scribbles are real geometry inside of layout, and they will be placed on a separate layer that's been created. The name of the layer is the date and time of today, of this moment. So you can always know what scribbles you took at what date and time. And of course, if you don't want to have those anymore in your presentation, you can or delete it, or you can just click the eye and it will be hidden. Another great thing about presentation in 3D is that when you want to navigate through the model, you can still do that. The client wants to see a different part of the model. You can just double click the view, and even when you're in full screen mode, you can still rotate and view your model from all angles. Even more so, you can also click with the right button and get access to some camera tools, like say I wanna walk, and with the little feet, you can make a scroll through your design. Look around. So this is actually what someone would see when they are up on the ramp looking around. How cool is that? So it's a 2D presentation tool allowing to still work in 3D. And to see some more linking, I can go back to the SketchUp model and, for instance, change the stair. I can say, okay, no, I want to have just one side. Oh. No, just one is enough. Let's save the model. And let's go back to layout. Let's zoom in a bit. Click right, choose update. And the update is reflected in your model. You can see that the display is a little bit rough. That's because I can choose how to display this SketchUp model. If I go to my SketchUp model, I can see at the bottom right it says raster. And the quality of the raster can be determined by going into the document setup menu and choose paper. And here you see the edit quality and you can see the output quality. So I would like to have the output quality set to high so that when I create a PDF or a print, I will really get nice quality images. And also when I export or print scalp sections, I will have a quality of 300 dots per inch. So I'm now sure that when I export this, it will be sharp. But there's another thing you can do, and that is set it to vector. And vector is great for 2D line drawings, but as you can see that vector is not capable of displaying texture information. So also transparency gets lost. So in this case, if you really want to have the edges as vectors, and you do need the textures, just set it to hybrid and it will do both. It will be a little bit slower, it asks more from your machine, but you will have a really crisp presentation. And that's what I talked about in my spreadsheets, that this combination of vectors and textures can be written out as PDF. That's the only way to do it from out of SketchUp Pro. So this ends my demonstration. I hope you got a clear overview of what you can achieve in layout, how it's linked to your 3D model, and what you can do with it. Let's go back to the spreadsheet and talk a little bit about some support issues we're seeing. And let's talk you through some very rare occasions. Many times people ask us what machine to buy for SketchUp and layout, and well, I've told this during the SketchUp webinar. I will say it again here. If you can, just use a 64-bit operating system, because SketchUp and layout are 64-bit today. It supports Windows 7 or higher, a Mac 10.8 or higher, and to our experience, still Windows runs SketchUp and layout faster than Mac. If you see troubles, it's 95% of the times related to the video card. We advise video cards from NVIDIA. Just take a GeForce GTX or better, Quadro, or even better, but tend to be a little bit more expensive. I think you have a GeForce suitable card below $200. And always make sure that you download and install the latest drivers from NVIDIA. Never use the drivers from the operating system, because they will have not all functionality enabled. When you're on a Mac, it's a little bit more difficult. Apple decides what card they put in your iMac or your MacBook. Yeah, be wise and choose the one with the NVIDIA card. When a new OS comes out, Windows 9 or 10, or maybe the next version of Apple, Mac OS 10, please wait before you get before you upgrade your operating system. Wait until you get the message that SketchUp and LayOut are updated to support those. Because if it's part of your everyday workflow, and SketchUp is developed before the operating system came out, it could really be so that there are incompatibilities, and you will be in trouble. So just wait and don't upgrade too soon. If layout tends to get slow, there are some things you can do about it. You saw me going into the quality settings in document setup. Needless to say that if you lower the quality, especially for editing mode, you will be able to run faster. And also have a look at the SketchUp model panel palette and choose raster. It will run faster than vector, especially for large drawings. If your output is bad, then these two things in layout is the way to look to search for. Just increase the output quality, and well, like I showed you, set your SketchUp model display to vector or hybrid for having crisp edges. In case you need support and you bought it locally, we are a distributor and we have a network of resellers that can be found on our website. Just contact your reseller, and if the reseller can't help you, they will contact us and we will help the reseller helping you. And if we don't know it, then we contact SketchUp, well, Trimble, and they will help us. So if we do this, everyone will stay in the loop and we'll get help faster. Also, there's a frequently asked question section on our website. So just go to designaid.eu, and in the English section, you have these two little flags here. Just go to support SketchUp, and here you have, especially about layout, some frequently asked questions. And if you're really stuck, never forget this machine. If I show this to my kids, they won't know what it is, but it's a telephone, and sometimes I see 10 emails going back and forth with little answers, little questions. I think those situations are better handled by picking up the phone. You're helped faster. If you've seen layout and you think, wow, that's really great, but how am I going to master it? It's good to know that we offer training, and in your area, I think it's best suited to do an online training if you would like. It's the same setup as we are using today. We will fill the day with a training manual and guide you through all the aspects, giving you plenty opportunity to work with it and to practice. And we offer you as a visitor to this webinar a one-day online layout training for €199 excluding VAT per person. So you will be sent an email after this presentation containing this offer, containing these slides, and also containing a link to the webinar, because we push the record button, and this movie will be available for you to view later on. Almost done. I would like to show you a very, very nice example. I'm not sure if you know this man, Nick Saunders. I've met him on the SketchUp Basecamp, and he really does some amazing stuff. You can watch movies of this guy on YouTube, and I just took some screenshots, and well, this is what Nick Saunders does. I know he used to use a different CAD application, much more expensive, also well known, to do this kind of work, but now he uses only SketchUp and layout, and he finishes the job. So he needs nothing else but SketchUp and layout. You can see he uses multiple views on one page. He uses leaders to really outline construction details. It's all in this corporate identity. And this was for a different client. Check it out. He uses grayscale, color, 2D, 3D annotations. It really looks fantastic. And here he uses only 2D, which is also perfectly suitable. And I know there are 2D planning modules where you can create these images, but it's good to know that in LayOut, the 2D model is linked to the 3D model. So if you change your 3D model, it will be changed throughout your whole presentation. So maybe we'll see each other soon online. Do you have any questions for me right now? I invite you to just type a question or raise your hand, and if you have a microphone, I can give you the microphone to ask questions. Okay. How to circle dimension. So the question is to how to dimension a circle. I don't think there's a radial dimension tool in LayOut. So the way to do it is just, let me draw a circle to dimension the diameter. It's really only doable from out of the center, but you will not get the radial dimension. Maybe, I'm not sure. You can do it like with the leader. No, you have to do it yourself. So yeah, but like I said, LayOut is in heavy development, and we expect a new version even this year. If you're on active maintenance, you will automatically get it, and I'm sure that there will be more features available to your use. So stay tuned. Maybe another question. Is there auto text to scale? Not sure I understand that question. Is there auto text to scale? Do you mean that you can automatically get the scale of a tag of an object? Okay, so if I got one model in LayOut, can it auto text the scale of the model? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I really don't know. Let's have a look, because there are some pre-populated auto texts. Client, like current date, dates, file name, page, reissue. No, and you can create your own. It's about date. No, not possible. I think that's a good one to put on the list for adding it in future versions. It would be nice, and I think it's possible also because the scale of this model is known. Let's put it to 1:50. So it would be ideally be displayed somewhere here, or maybe in an Autodesk. So good suggestion. I will forward it to Trimble. Any more questions? Okay, no more questions, and I would like to leave you with just one movie of a guy about LayOut. And after the movie, it's only one minute or so. I will end this session. I would like to thank you already for being part of this session. If you have questions still, don't hesitate to contact us by email or phone, and we're happy to help you out. So thanks again, and good luck watching this movie, and good luck using LayOut, and I hope to see you in an online training someday.
Hello, Basecamp 2010. I would like to talk to you about the CAD, computer-aided dinosaur. There are still some architects using the CAD. Why you would use the CAD instead of the layout? I do not know. SketchUp not only produces the 3D model, it also generates the 2D information. Layout finish the job better than the CAD. The CAD, it is in the museum, like the roundy telephone or the floppy disk. Am I missing something? Am I stupid? Pierre, am I stupid? Voilà. So people prefer to keep beating their head off the wall. Not me. C'est tout, allez. Zut. This still recording? We cannot find the switch. What are you doing, you idiot? I am not an idiot, you stupid old